Hip tally-ho, Joolz Guides here, in which I wander around London and tell you fascinating facts. And we are back sort of in Kentish Town. This walk can kind of be following on from the Kentish Town video, but we're going to go from Kentish Town Station up Highgate Road towards Parliament Hill and around. Well, you'll see. Anyway, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the videos. Now, in the Kentish Town video, we finished in the Assembly House over there. And that was at the end of Leighton Road, which was a road that led all the way up to Islington back in those days. But this one is the one that leads up towards Highgate. But yeah, opposite there, here, look, the Bull and Gate. I used to go to gigs here. There's been a pub here since 1715. Looks like they've rebuilt this one in 1871. This is lovely in here. They've turned it into a dining room, but I remember coming back here and seeing bands and stuff. Oh, it's really nice though, isn't it?
Absolutely, beautiful.
And look, the gig, look, the stage was over there. I saw a band called Perfect Days here. I want to ride away with you, all the way to Kathmandu. They were good. I like what you've done with the place. I do, it's lovely, isn't it? All the original stuff, all the fittings. I love the cut glass and everything. Hey, it is nice. What goes on up here then?
You can hire it for birthday parties and events.
Might have to book it for the Joolz Guides annual Christmas party. What do you think? Old Castle Inn. We went past there. You see, that was the one where behind which Lord Nelson's uncle lived in the other video at Kentish Town. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you very much. Up this cobbled path here, round the back, with the stables for the London General Omnibus Company, because a horse bus used to stop here. I expect these probably were put here back in the old days to prevent the wheels of the omnibus or the cart from, I don't know, mounting the curb or something. I suspect that's what they are. STPPM, St Pancras Parish, Middlesex. And right opposite the Bull and Gate is yet another old post office. I'm glad that they kept the signage there. It's beautiful, that. Fortis Road Post Office. So Fortis Road, because this road here led up to Highgate, and of course the trams had to stop at Parliament Hill because they couldn't really get up the hill. And so they built another road over there, Fortis Road, so they could go to Upper Holloway without having to go over the hill in Highgate. Next to the pub over there, the Assembly House, that's where the original Kentish Town Police Station was. They've now moved it to Holmes Road, but it was that nice building over there. Let's go this way. This was built in 1934 as a cinema, the Forum. When I was a lad, it was the Town and Country Club. But it's a venue for, big bands play here and stuff. Inside, there's supposed to be a frieze. I can't, it's not open at the moment, but there's a frieze inside which they say was provided by Mussolini. If you go to a gig, you'll see this kind of Roman-type frieze up on the wall. Mussolini wanted this place to be suitable for these fascist rallies that Oswald Mosley was conducting in the 1930s with his famous black shirts. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but look, they've got lovely, old mosaic and stuff. This is the Christ Apostolic Church. Actually, this is the one, in Only Fools and Horses, where Raquel and Del Boy have a son called Damien. This is where Damien's christening is, in Only Fools and Horses, and the music comes. I mean, it's only the outside. In Only Fools, I think on the inside they use a different church. And they often held these competitions to design things like churches, and the winning design actually was too expensive for them to carry out, so they ended up with this. And it's been described as the meanest, most contemptible church. But this is the one that John Betjeman describes in his poem, Parliament Hill Fields, where he goes on a tram journey all the way home past this. Launched aboard the shopping basket, sat precipitously down, rocked past Zwanziger the bakers, and the terrace, blackish brown, and the curious Anglo-Norman parish church of Kentish Town. Sir John Betjeman, who I like because he went to my school. Just opposite there is the Co-op, but this used to be the Tally-Ho pub. There was a pub called the Tally-Ho, and rather pleasingly, there's a bus that goes past here on its way to Tally-Ho Corner. So I just felt It's appropriate for me. And then opposite that is the fire station. Well, the only part of the old fire station you can still see is that like red post over there. That's the old one, but now they've moved it round to here. I like those old remnants, because I often wondered what this tower was. There's a weird looking tower there, but I didn't realise it's part of the fire station. That's where they practice their rescuing people from fires. There's loads of carpet shops along this stretch of Highgate Road. Look, so many of them. It's been here for years, all these carpet shops. Down here on Sanderson Close, at the end of Sanderson Close, you've got these old locomotive sheds. Look, those back before 1914, they were servicing hundreds of locomotives here. Can't really go down there, they'll get annoyed at us. And then all these other buildings, I mean, there's warehouses, a lot of them would have been piano factories as well. I talked about them in the Kentish Town video, but there was a lot of piano factories knocking around. I like this terrace just alongside it, Fitzroy Terrace. Look how old these ones are here. Fitzroy Terrace it's called. You've got the bricks that are all wonky and everything. Does they look at 18th century or so? I mean, what I like about this one in particular, it's got the old stone sign, Fitzroy Terrace, and look, another Sun Life insurance plaque, you see, points.
That's why it's still standing, you see.
That's got to be an original one. It's definitely not, I don't think that's fake. That's no, they didn't have fire brigades in those days, so the only people who would come and put your fire out were the people who insured you. I don't think that's one though. I don't know what that one is. Maybe someone can let me know. Look at that. Nice little coat of arms on the side of that building. Fitzroy Place. So Fitzroy, again, presumably, is connected with the Duke of Grafton, because the Fitzroy family were the same family that were descended from the bastard son of King Charles II. Fitzroy family. I'm always going on about him. They must have owned so much property. I assume that was named after him anyway. I don't know what it is. I love places near railway lines. And I just find this so, well, they're very cinematic. And this was the old boys' school, built in 1820. To teach boys the fear of God and bodily health. But of course, when they built the railway, they just went straight through the playground of the school. This is a pity. Now, presumably, it is luxury flats. And the pub next door, look, it's nice. I think it was originally a house. Again, you know, you can see how the front door of the house was probably back there. And then they built out an extra bit onto it. I don't know how interesting all this is for you, but I mean, it's just the Southampton Arms is again named after like Lord Southampton or something, who was, again, I think they're the same family, the Dukes of Grafton and the Fitzroy family. Anyway, I think they're all connected. I forgot. I know I make all these films, but I forget all the stuff. I'm getting a bit slack in my old age. These houses here, by the way, just down Wesleyan Place, that's where John Keats used to live. He lived there for a little bit. They don't have a plaque for him, but then he got very ill. When he was really suffering, he was living here at number 2. He complained about the street singers and the street music that was going on outside his house. I mean, he was pretty young. Normally young people don't mind stuff like that, but I suppose he was pretty ill as well. But he didn't like it here. He liked the fact that he could see across to Hampstead. They must have had a lot of street musicians around here. So I ended up moving back up to Hampstead, to Keats' house. Walking up Dartmouth Park Road now, continuation of Highgate Road. This is the bit that John Betjeman describes in his poem, and he talks about these baubles hanging from the trees, and he used to come up here on a tall tram, and he'd like to play with the baubles on these plane trees. You know, they've got those kind of bauble-y things there. Those baubles, which sadly I forgot to film, so I had to film them in the winter time instead. Sorry about the incongruity. So I don't know why I'm obsessed with. I like John Betjeman, he's good. Do you remember those things he did about London, a bit like Joolz guides? They're really good. I like to imagine him coming up on the bus or tram or whatever and playing with the dangly baubles, so to speak. This is Clevedon Mansions, and at the end is Lissenden Grove, and just such the details on these buildings. I mean, they weren't originally council flats, they were privately owned originally. these buildings, and then I think they got sold off to the council. It's a lovely community. Everyone comes out and sings carols and stuff at Christmas time, and it's very quiet, isn't it? We've got a tennis court here as well. Hello. Oh, do you? Oh, just talking about your building here, Clevedon Mansions. So John Betjeman was born over there, wasn't he? He described these as the Red Cliffs. But actually, I like this plaque here for Martin Shaw. Now, he was the organist over in St Mary's, the church opposite my primary school in Primrose Hill. He kind of revolutionised the way we sing hymns and didn't like these new, insipid Victorian tunes, which he described as being like an overripe bunch of bananas. He preferred the more kind of medieval type of tunes. And then he worked together there with Percy Dearmer. And Percy Dearmer wrote the words to a lot of these famous hymns which we know. And so it's weird to think that they both worked there 100 years before I later went there with my school, sat there singing the hymns that they wrote in assembly, going, "He who would valiant be against all disaster." And what else did he do? "God is love, 'tis the care tending each everywhere." That's just for the benefit of people who went to my school. And Harvey, if you're watching, that one's for you. Harvey Sherdnell. Actually, the main reason I got into filming, I have to credit him. Harvey was a friend of my brother's, and I think it was the first time I ever saw a video camera. He used to come around with this video camera and he'd make these crazy videos, and mostly of him screaming actually, but they were very amusing, and I really thought it was amazing, this video camera thing. So he kind of got me into making films, and I'm very grateful. Good old Harvey. But look, the Bull and Last. There used to be a coach that left here at 7 p.m. every evening to Great Ormond Street Hospital back in 1763, just to accompany people for fear of bandits and highwaymen. There were a lot of highwaymen along here back in those days. And the house next door, you know who lived there? Gary Moore, the guitarist. This is great for some air guitar. Parisian Walkways, do you know that song? By Gary Moore? Oh, anyway, he lived over there. I suppose we could continue going all the way up this way, all the way up Highgate West Hill. So we've got Parliament Hill Fields on the left there, but if you could kind of, after this video, you can kind of, if you want to see about that direction, you can pick it up from my Highgate video, because I've got a Highgate video where I start over there, just next to the tennis courts, where I recorded one of my most famous victories against Mr. R.L. Tilt with wooden tennis rackets. It was superb. They should play with wooden rackets at Wimbledon. It's definitely the way forward. Great leveller. Now opposite there, that's La Saint-Union School, where Imelda Staunton went. That little bit next door, the Croft Lodge, it's like I think it's a nuns, one of those, what do you call them, Roman Catholic convent schools, I think. And that place next door, actually, in the Second World War, that was occupied by the RAF for their practice. They used to pretend to shoot the nuns walking around. It's a bit mean, isn't it? That was their kind of practice, training. And then right there is William Ellis School. William Ellis, where, I don't know, Julian Temple, the director, he went there. Fred Titmus, the cricket member, Mr. F.J. Titmus, he was the cricket player. When the gentlemen played the players, back in the old days, if you were a gentleman, you would have your initials before your name. But if you were a player, and not a gentleman, you would have your initials after your name. And so he wasn't a gentleman, he was just an ordinary bloke, an ordinary player. And on one occasion he was playing, and on the programme it said, Mr. F.J. Titmus. And there was an announcement on the loudspeaker system during the game. It said, ladies and gentlemen, there has been a mistake in your programme. Mr. F.J. Titmus should read Mr. Titmus F.J. I mean, so petty. Anyway, he went here. Grove Terrace. What does that sign tell you, Simon? What do you know about that? You've been watching Joolz Guides. What's that teach you? NW. It means that it's older than 1917.
I see. Okay, yes, that's.
I assume it might be a replica or something, but but anything before 1917, they didn't have the numerical subdivision of the postcode, so that's presumably an old 100-year-old sign, maybe. It's beautiful. This terrace, Grove Terrace, dates from 1780. Hello to Gemma if you're watching. I don't know if she is. I had a friend who lived here once. Amazing house. Now number 23 here. This is quite amusing. Up until 1980, there was someone called Polly Rogers who used to live here, and she had a horse. And sometimes you could see her taking her horse through the front door here at number 23, because, I don't know, maybe she had a stable or something out the back, she couldn't get it round there or something like that. It was quite amusing. Presumably they wouldn't let her take her horse down the back here, because that would have made sense to get it down there. But anyway, she was often seen taking her horse in through the front door. But next door to that, number 22, now this was where the engraver Charles Grignon or something, he lived. He used to work for Hogarth. Anyway, Grignon's wife in 1773, she was robbed on one of these stagecoaches around here, and at the Old Bailey she had to give evidence, and they said, oh, well, were you scared? And she said, no, not really. She said, it's happened to me so many times that it was just perfectly normal. Apparently it's quite a common occurrence to get robbed on the stagecoaches. But what a lovely street. Imagine living here, Simon. You can't keep a horse in a lighthouse. Nay, nay, nay. Do you know that song? You can't keep a horse in a lighthouse. Imagine what these would have looked like before all these cars came and ruined all the view. I mean, I must say, it would have been this really nice, wide street with nothing over there. You would have been able to see all the way over to Hampstead. It would have been an extraordinary view.
Yeah. The trees wouldn't be so large either. Of course, they would be smaller.
Yeah, that's true,
So
isn't it? These would have been saplings, perhaps, because, you know, they look like they're, well, they must be at least 100 years old, don't you think? Now we're now on Chetwynd Road, and you can see how it goes down this hill into a valley and then back up again. That's because of the River Fleet, this underground river, which goes all the way from Highgate Ponds, Hampstead, and I don't know, it comes down through here. And yeah, that's the valley of it. I like this sign here, look. Oh, but what does it say? It's the name of the builder who built this house. And he built a lot of other houses in it, but I forgot what his name is. It says, I think it's something like John Hurst. And it's quite nice, just advertising his services. Yeah. Good, isn't it? I love those things. Just opposite there, by the way, is Backs and Beyond, where I have been to the osteopath here. Gavin Burt, very good. Also, if you want a massage, don't know if she's still there, but ask for Roxanne or Becky. Also, Paula Radcliffe's osteopath, I think. Anyway, I might be mistaken. Yeah, and around here you've got all these nice, some more examples of ghost signs. You know, this is York Rise. On the side of this building, this used to be a drapery. What have they got there? Look, laces, flannels, flannelettes, calicos, underclothing, caps and aprons. Couch my disease in chintz-covered kisses, glazed calico cloth my costume this is. And you wonder why I like Steve Harvey. Great lyrics those are. G.R. King George V. Gentlemen, the King. Yes, that's from George V's time. Because if it was George VI, he would have had the actual 6. But for some reason, George V didn't have that, he just had GR. George Rex. If you can be bothered to walk up this hill, you could go to the Lord Palmerston, who do an excellent Sunday roast, I might add. It's at the top there, at the top of Chetwynd Road, Dartmouth Park Hill, but you know what? That hill, and we haven't finished filming it, so we're going to have to go this way. That's going to have to wait for another video, but I highly recommend it. Let's go this way, down York Rise. Faraday House. Look, it's nice. You've got those nice, spacious balconies. Do you know what I mean? That's lovely, isn't it? And you see, they've even got some very convenient washing lines they've provided for people there. Look, those columns there, those are washing lines. And originally, they had sculptures of dragons on top. They're talking about putting some new replicas up there. It's a pity they're not there. Maybe people vandalised them or nicked them or something, I don't know.
I like those corner windows.
You're obsessed with windows, but I see what you mean.
I don't know,
yeah.
the windows with the staircase and everything.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, it's just really of its period, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, it's great.
From about here, I mean, if you're tall like me, you can stand at the bottom and look over the side. But if you stand here, you can see the storm drain there. They've encased the River Fleet, the underground river. They've encased it in the storm drain there. Look, that's it. It goes across. They've taken a whole river and they've crushed it into a drain. Look, amazing, isn't it? I love it. You can follow it all the way down. Can you see it down there? Short people like you have to stand up here to see it. Could do with a lick of paint. Ackland Burley School. I think he was the Chancellor of Queen Elizabeth I. Famous people who went here, Miss Dynamite, you remember Miss Dynamite? She went here. The guy on the saxophone that we were talking about, from Madness, who flies up in the air in the baggy trousers video. And Eddie Grant. I don't wanna dance with you, baby, no more. Right opposite there. Now, I think behind that street there was the stables of the London General Omnibus Company. They needed 2 horses to pull an omnibus, or a third one if it was going up a steep hill. So they had 11 horses in total, and I think this is where they kept them. Anyway, because in 1814 they opened up that Junction Road to save these horses this steep climb up to Highgate, so they could just go along the road there. Because, you know, if you're cycling, you don't really notice it. If you have to go up here, up Dartmouth Park Hill, that's a real steep climb. But if you go down that road over there, it's not as much of a hassle. Look at that excellent sign up there, another one of those ancient signs. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not a replica. Look at that one, Dartmouth Park Hill, NW. So that's definitely 100 years old. I used to do brilliant gigs in there. I used to do great gigs, and the best gig I ever went to was a band called Snuff. I remember it was just, the place was rocking. It was amazing. I think you could call it thrash metal. I like them. Ah, memories. I think the Boston Arms is where I saw the Bay of Pigs play. They were supporting the gay bikers on acid, as I remember. They were excellent. Dominic on harmonica and vocals. Bill, I think he was the son of the guy who designed the Pink Floyd album covers. Anyway, they were good. I like the Bay of Pigs. Hi, Dominic. Sewing machine repairman. However, can I repay you?
You should have an advert, you know, like in Ghostbusters, where they have, "We're here to help you." He used to the saying kind of, "I'm here to fix your sewing machine."
Just as we're walking down Fortis Road here, back down towards Kentish Town station, I just want to point out again, you know, I never really thought of it before, but when you look at how the houses used to be all set back from the road there, and then when you've got the shops, you see how much wider the road would have been.
We zoom in there.
Yeah, you got those shops have just encroached. They've added extra.
Extension.
Yeah, extensions. Quite a busy road, not particularly attractive really, but then you see these lovely old terrace of houses here. Fortis Terrace it's called. 56. In this house here, Ford Maddox Brown lived. He was a painter. He famously did a painting from here, and he called it Hampstead from My Window. From there, looking that way, and you could see the difference, because he can look all the way across Hampstead, it's beautiful, and now there ain't nothing there but this. And next door, it's very much in the news at the moment, the first ever anti-vaxxer. The world's first anti-vaxxer lived there.
Political.
Dr. William Rowley. This is quite a nice building now, which I think was probably turned into another piano factory. But Dr. William Rowley objected to Edward Jenner's cowpox vaccine that he developed. In fact, that's why we call it a vaccine, after the cowpox vaccine, because vacus or something means cow in Latin. So that's where you get the word vaccine from. Anyway, he objected to it. Well, he even claimed at one point that it made young boys look like cows. He said, there's a cow-faced boy around here. Oh, it's a bit of weather closing inside.
Suddenly a storm's brewing.
Yeah.
What's going on? Take shelter.
We'll have to go to the pub. Look at this, Chris Rocco Taylor's.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing his trousers today, but normally when I'm wearing my green checkered trousers, Chris Rocco made them for me. Cypriot Taylor there. I've got more than one Taylor. Well, look, you can get a slightly better idea from standing over here, or if you stand over there by the railway, you can get a slightly better idea of what the view would have been for Ford Maddox Brown over there. It's before they built all this.
It's another one of those streets where all the neighbours somewhere down the line have agreed to keep it all pastelic.
Yeah, do you think that
Nice
there's...
array of colours.
Do you think that it's like agreed, or do you think they have to? Is it in the lease, maybe? Maybe it's in the lease. Because if you were just one and you couldn't
It's
be
not
bothered...
keeping up with the Joneses, is it? I mean, it's not like it's just naturally, this is something that, oh, I see, like it's in a contract.
It might be. I love this mews. These were old stables and stuff. And some of them have even got these, you know, these winches, probably used to pull things up onto horses or onto carts or up into windows and stuff. But just around the back here, I think this was where they kept a giraffe called Zara in the 1890s. They had to keep her here whilst they were building the giraffe house at London Zoo. She lived here. It's quite nice. I like giraffes because they're tall, like me. Anyway, let's go to the pub next door. They tried to close it down and turned it into luxury flats like everything else, but yeah, campaigned by the locals, including Jon Snow and amongst others, they managed to save it, which is good because I think it's amazing in here. I mean, the pineapples. I'm in a constant argument with my subscribers about what pineapples represent, but apparently pineapples are supposed to represent hospitality and welcoming. So anyway, cheers, Simon.
Cheers, Julian.
Cheers, everybody. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the videos. And if you want to find out more about me, you can go over to my website, joolzguides.com, and follow me on Instagram, which is @JoolzGuidesOfficial. Cheers. See you next time.